To the bottom of what happened in Hutchinson has been with MPD for 17 years and was featured on a national show called Police Women of Memphis. Her name was Erica Logan at the time. According to her personnel file, she got in trouble for allowing a suspect to escape back in 2015 for misplacing her service weapon in a recycling bin in 2020 and for skipping a Crime Stoppers conference last year.
Erica Hutchinson was one of 2 Memphis police officers assigned to help field Crime Stoppers tips and send them to investigators.
I knew her. She had been in many of our meetings.
David Wayne Brown is Crime Stoppers executive director.
She was a trusted individual, and I always thought she was a nice person. I know that she got into some kind of financial difficulty, and perhaps that's what pushed her.
WRG investigators uncovered internal police records stating in late 2023 through early 2024, Hutchinson carefully devised, participated, and executed a plan to fraudulently obtain money from the Crime Stoppers Rewards program. Basically, each tipster is assigned a number when they provide information because the system is all anonymous. If a detective says that tip helps solve the felony crime, Crime Stoppers determines the reward amount. The tipster then calls in and gives the number to see if they got a reward. Internal Affairs says Hutchinson took unclaimed tips, provided the information to a female acquaintance so she could pick up rewards, and the two would split it. At least one time, Hutchinson changed an investigator's information in the database to collect a reward. Brown says in all, they collected 18 to 19 rewards.
And it was just around $20,000.
Internal Affairs stated Hutchinson refused to cooperate, stressing in her file the probability of public outrage will have a profound effect once your crimes are exposed in the media and will further promote distrust in MPD. Before she could be disciplined, she resigned in April, stating, "I have enjoyed my affiliation and will always cherish the friendships." She was federally charged in June and pleaded guilty that same day. Earlier this month, she was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison plus 2 years supervised release, forced to pay $20,000 in restitution, among other requirements like a mental health assessment, financial literacy classes, and drug and alcohol treatment.
Crime Stoppers is fine. A donor has made sure that we are whole. And the good news is we caught her quickly.
Brown says internal safeguards are in place, like an audit system, which raised red flags, and within months, the FBI launched and conducted an investigation. He says Crime Stoppers has added another safeguard to ensure and maintain the public's trust.
Something like this has never happened before in 44 years of Crime Stoppers, so I think it's an anomaly.
The state's policing board says MPD has notified them about Hutchinson's resignation, but at last check has yet to request her decertification. MPD is yet to respond to her emails. Now, according to federal documents, her accomplice has been charged separately. We're digging deeper to find out who her accomplice is.
A Germantown police officer is now suspended after allegedly driving while intoxicated. But while he's charged with one crash in Germantown, police are also telling us he may have been involved in 2 other crashes in Collierville. Our Chase Simon has more.
A busy stretch on Poplar Pike, now the center of an investigation in Germantown. It crashed Tuesday afternoon as a Germantown police officer watched a speeding driver crash into another car. Turns out that driver was a fellow officer. Llewell Young, an off-duty Germantown police officer with 18 years with the department patrolling the midnight shift. Police say Young was drunk when the crash happened in Germantown. Collierville police say they're also investigating separate crashes involving Young. One around Houston Levee and Wolf River and another at Houston Levee and Poplar. He's now off the job, suspended without pay, and facing a long list of charges, including DUI, reckless driving, and possession of a weapon while intoxicated. For your news leader in Germantown,
Good morning. Welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. Annie, you want to say hi to the folks? I know Ann on Mouse wants to hear you talk. Okay. Anyways, there you go. All right. That was just for you, Ann on Mouse. Okay. So you guys, we're going to start the day out with a diddler. That's right. We're going to get it over with early. Former West Virginia deputy charged with felony involving 600 images of minors makes first court appearance. Make your appearance, buddy. Look at this guy. He's about 5'2". Check him out. He looks like a little meathead. He's a typical bad apple cop. Flying under the radar? No siree. Former Hancock deputy Patrick Hoder appeared in Hancock County Magistrate Court for the first time Thursday afternoon. Hoder is being charged with one felony count of distributing, exhibiting material depicting minors engaging in, oh, come on, dude, idiot. According to the court filing, 600 plus images and videos involved in this case. Special Magistrate Shannon Price of Brooke County is hearing the case, and the special prosecutor is Gail Call of Ohio County. Well, Hoder is being represented by defense attorney. We don't care. All right, so Magistrate Price granted a motion and blah, blah, blah. New dates expected in the next 30 days. Well, look at this guy. Check him out. Typical bad apple. That's right. Now we're going to move on with the show.
A Beaver County Regional Police Chief is set to get a big retirement bonus, but the Borough Council in one community his department serves says it could have catastrophic long-term consequences for taxpayers. Good evening, thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Josh Taylor, in tonight for Ken Rice. KDKA's Ricky Sayer is live at the Beaver Valley Regional Police Department to explain why they feel like this decision is a huge mistake. Good evening, Ricky.
Good evening. Baden's Borough Council says that $91,000 bonus has already been approved, but that it could cost a whole lot more than that because of that bonus. A pension study found they could end up paying an extra $360,000 on pensions over the next 15 years. Baden Council members say they like the Beaver Valley Regional Police Chief.
I just enjoy talking to him. He's a great guy. I think he's done an amazing job.
So, why are they opposed to Chief Adam Johnston getting a $91,000 retirement bonus?
We see it a waste of taxpayers' money. We don't think the cost was fully explained or looked at.
Michael Steuben is both a Baden Council member and the vice chair of the Beaver Valley Regional Police Department Commission.
This will also increase his pension, which is a big issue.
He showed us the results of a professional pension study.
This is where it says it's going to be a red flag when the state does the audit because it's spiking the pension.
And what did you think when you saw this?
I thought anyone that voted for it was out of their mind.
The problem for them is that even though Baden's representatives on the police commission voted against the bonus, representatives from Rochester Township, Conway Borough, and Freedom Borough all approved it.
I mean, it's a done deal. The board voted, but we want the people of Baden to know that we have problems with it.
Steuben says that's why Baden Borough Council didn't even take a vote to approve next year's police budget. They're hoping changes can be made to bring down costs. While Rochester Township Commission members didn't directly address the bonus tonight, one did say this.
We've all taken our public safety people for granted for the last 50 years that I've been involved. The police deserve more money, and they're making more money. They're finally making a livable wage for what the job that they have to do.
They told us for comment on the bonus, we need to ask the Regional Police Commission's chairman. He didn't return our calls. Two Conway Borough Council members told us they had no comment.
A lot of them are afraid this will make the regional department look bad, which is not the intent.
Councilwoman Gallagher says she's spoken to the chief.
I told him that for retirement, I believe he should get a card and a cake. I think $91,000 is a little excessive.
Baden Council members are also concerned that the chief's bonus sets a potential precedent that other similar bonuses could be handed out to chiefs or other officers in the future. Live in Conway, Beaver County, Ricky Sayer, KDK TV News.
We have breaking news, and although it may seem like deja vu, it's not. It's just another bad apple. Officer Jonathan Debzak the nut. Well, he's currently on administrative leave, but here's the deal. He's going to seem so familiar to you.
News out of Jackson County this morning. Investigators say a Jackson police officer is on leave and charged with several crimes connected to a recent arrest. Officer Jonathan Dubchek is charged with assault with a dangerous weapon, operating while intoxicated, child endangerment, and domestic violence. News 10 will have more details on this story as soon as...
Well, okay, look at Debzak. Look at him. He's all got his... What, man? I'm a cop. He's an idiot is what he is. He's the bad apple, and he made it on the bad apple report. All right.
$900 fishing reels, slide rentals, a drone, and pricey amplifiers are just some of the personal purchases then Miramar Fire Chief Robert Palmer made with city money, according to investigators. All expenses listed on his city-issued purchase card, or P card, spanned a 5-year period from 2017 until just before Palmer retired in 2022.
When somebody goes into a position in public office where they're using the taxpayers' funds, they should have a heightened sense of propriety.
Joseph DeMaria is a former federal prosecutor who now works as a defense attorney. He was not involved in this investigation. After his retirement, investigators began looking into over 400 purchases made with Palmer's P card. According to this police memo from September of last year, they compiled a list of dozens of items not consistent with purchases that would be made for the fire rescue department. The total value of those items, nearly $36,000.
It clearly raises questions.
NBC6 Investigates obtained a copy of the list. The merchandise ranges from nearly $800 for a welder, over $600 in golf cart parts, 8 tactical gun cases, and a $600 ice maker from Best Buy. Police say some of the purchases were delivered to fire headquarters and others went to Palmer's home.
This memo from the Broward State Attorney's Office Public Corruption Unit states the investigation began with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, but it was decided by the city of Miramar that their police department's internal affairs unit would take over the investigation.
Do I think it looks good that they basically took the investigation away from the FDLE and brought it in-house? I don't think that looks good.
Police searched several fire stations, but were unable to locate any of the exact items listed. Shortly after that, the sergeant handling the case told prosecutors his command had asked him to discontinue the investigation, according to this memo. Broward State Attorney's Office declined to prosecute, saying they believe Palmer did in fact steal from the city of Miramar. But getting the evidence they need will be next to impossible due to the delays in reporting and the city's disinterest in cooperating with any prosecution.
Would somebody's position make a difference? I think so. Somebody lower down on the chain might not get the same benefit.
Palmer's attorney declined to comment for this story, but according to the prosecutor's memo, Palmer was consistently evasive when questioned, but did agree he used the P card to make personal purchases at Home Depot and Lowe's and paid the city back to expeditiously resolve this matter. This is the copy of the check the city gave prosecutors showing Palmer paid back more than $35,000. It's dated March of last year. The city also provided us with a copy of the check, but this one is from September, 6 months later, and after prosecutors closed the case. The city has not explained why.
How did it keep happening year after year? Did you conduct an audit 4 years ago? Did you find any of this?
Miramar City Manager Roy Virgin would not answer our questions on camera, but told us in an email there is an approval process for expenditures, and staff did not identify any discrepancies at the time of review, adding they did conduct an audit after Palmer retired when they learned of potential misuse of the card. Virgin also said the city didn't pursue criminal charges because Palmer paid restitution and no longer worked there.
What is the city doing to make sure this doesn't happen again?
The city manager tells us the city has reduced the number of P cards issued in order to better track and audit expenses, which he says is done routinely. We also asked the city why they took over the investigation and to provide records showing if either of those checks was cashed. So far, they have not responded. Amy Viteri, NBC6 News.
Irresponsible, disappointing, and indefensible. That is how the Oklahoma Attorney General's office is describing the handling of millions in COVID relief dollars. That money meant to help Oklahoma families with children who were struggling during the pandemic.
A new grand jury report saying those in charge of the funds, including the governor and State Superintendent Ryan Walters, prevented families from accessing that money. News 4's Spencer Humphrey is here to break it all down. Spencer.
Well, yeah, guys, you may remember last year when a state audit uncovered those mishandled funds. A multi-county grand jury now went to go on and investigate. And this week they concluded those state leaders showed, quote, a complete lack of oversight and accountability. Ignorant of their own ignorance. Those damning words coming from Oklahoma's multi-county grand jury, who go on to describe now State Superintendent Ryan Walters and Governor Kevin Stitt's handling of millions of federal COVID relief dollars meant to help needy students as irresponsible, disappointing, and indefensible. That grand jury report released Tuesday finding Walters, Stitt, and leaders from several pro-school privatization groups prevented the most vulnerable Oklahomans from getting help they desperately needed during a global pandemic. They're talking about the nearly $40 million the federal government sent Oklahoma as part of the governor's Emergency Education Relief, or GEAR funds, back during the height of the pandemic in 2020. The federal government tasked Governor Stitt with doling out those funds to families that had taken a financial hit from the pandemic so they could buy school supplies and other classroom essentials. According to the grand jury, the feds recommended Stitt have the State Department of Education, at that time helmed by Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister, distribute the funds since they had experience dealing with federal grants. But instead, the grand jury found Stitt ignored that advice and picked two nonprofit organizations aimed at advancing school choice policies to do it. Those nonprofits, Every Kid Counts Oklahoma and the American Federation for Children, or AFC. At the time, Ryan Walters was the director and sole employee of Every Kid Counts Oklahoma. The grand jury finding the state gave AFC Oklahoma's director access to info those needy families had never given the state consent to share, like their political party affiliation and voting district. The grand jury found at the direction of Walters, the state awarded a no-bid contract to the company ClassWallet to run an online system where families could sign up for the GEAR program and spend their money. The state was supposed to award families that money on a first-come, first-served basis, but the grand jury found the state opened the sign-up portal early to families with students attending a select few nonprofit private schools, saying how the schools were chosen remains a mystery. Also finding Walters gave blanket approval for every purchase families made on ClassWallet without reviewing what they bought first, putting the state on the hook for 385 watches, 179 doorbell cameras, 174 cell phones, 71 refrigerators, 27 Xbox systems, and 3 Christmas trees. In a statement Tuesday, Walters' spokesperson told us Walters has prioritized carefully and efficiently using taxpayer funds. Unfortunately, in this case, the vendor involved did not adhere to the same standards. But the grand jury coming to a different conclusion, saying the state bears the ultimate responsibility for the mistake. Despite all their findings, the grand jury says none of this rose to the level of a crime.
Mr. Walters is probably lucky that he wasn't indicted.
Former Assistant Oklahoma AG Tim Gilpin telling me that doesn't mean this is over.
One could guess that the U.S. attorney would want to take a look at it and potentially have a federal grand jury take a look to see if any federal laws were violated.
Meanwhile, Governor Stitt pointing the finger at Attorney General Gentner Drummond in a statement Tuesday, writing, "This was an inappropriate and unlawful use of a grand jury, all to pursue a headline in the Attorney General's campaign for governor. Oklahomans can see right through this weaponization of the law."
A grand jury is not political.
Then there's also state lawmakers like Republican Representative Mark McBride, who's been calling for an all-encompassing investigation of Walters' State Department of Education for several months now.
I think that this lays the groundwork for more investigations.
And if you'd like to see the grand jury's entire findings, we have that full report up right.
I ain't kidding y'all. These guys all seem so familiar to me, okay? Is it because all these stories are running together? Look at this guy over here. Couldn't tell he was a diddler. Okay. City manager, reserve police officer in Oklahoma arrested for child X abuse. Waurika, Oklahoma. Okay, Annie, you've made enough of an appearance on today's show. Please, dog. She's trying to steal the show now. I told her she was special, and now look at this. Created a monster. Okay, city manager and reserve police officer in Oklahoma was arrested for child X abuse. Charles Coyote Dunn. See, even his name sounds familiar. Age 30, he's the city manager for the city of Waurika, and he's a reserve police officer for the Waurika Police Department. He was arrested by OSBI in Duncan. Wow. The city manager and reserve police officer diddling away, allegedly. Special agents interviewed Dunn and served a search warrant in his home. According to the OSBI agents, they found electronic devices containing several child sexual images. He's charged possession and manufacture. Oh, dude, you sicko. child blah, 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 and loitering around residents to watch occupants. Oh, man, come on. Check this guy out. How did you not know? You see that guy loitering outside of your house, with his clipboard? Yeah, I'm just checking your get out of here. Diddler Alert. Okay. All right. That's enough rambling and yammering. Okay, you guys, I know that's kind of a harsh way to start and end the day with a diddler. But the day's over, and we're going to move on. It's a beautiful day today. I hope you guys are having a great day. So we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, right back here at 7:30 a.m. bright and early. And I hope you have an awesome day. Take it easy.